We're up, back at the dunes. The sun is trying to sneak behind the clouds there, and I would love to have it not do that. We got up a little bit later due to a horrendous night of sleep. It's incredibly windy. I woke up and said, you know what, it's not worth it. But then the sky started looking pretty cool when the sun started rising, and I decided to come on down here, and then we'll reward our efforts by just staying in a hotel room down the street.
Since the prior night was pretty crazy, I was just out to casually explore the area for compositions and details. Like this cracked dry mud right here, which I still forgot to take a picture of. Anyway, I figured I'd just wander around and keep an eye out for any kind of interesting light or sand patterns that I could capture.
Found like this one bush that's kind of framed up by a dune behind it, and there's some layers of mountain and other dunes next to it. I want to see if there's something to be had here.
When I first looked at this shot, I wasn't totally thrilled with it. Maybe because after last night it felt kind of boring, but the more I looked at it, the more I kind of liked it. The bush really stands out of its environment. The sand, mountains, sky, and clouds all provide their own layers of texture, and I really like how the atmosphere helps soften and separate the distant background. But one thing I'm still undecided on is whether or not I like it better with or without the clouds. In one hand, I like the added scale that they provide, but in the other, I like the simplicity of the shot without them. Either way, I think it sounds like something we should let the comments section decide. Get in there and let me know which one you like better.
So there's like an old Coke bottle in here. Like I know it's trash, but it looks kind of cool. I don't want to get too close to it now because it makes a pretty neat shot.
I just thought this was really cool. It kind of felt like finding buried treasure in a way. I wanted to preserve as much of the actual moment as possible, but also needed it to be clear what it was. You can see me blowing away just enough sand to recognize the Coca-Cola logo on the bottle.
This might actually be like a legit old-fashioned Coke bottle.
Alright guys, so I actually found this unreasonably interesting, and when I got home I had to check and see if this was a legitimate old-fashioned Coke bottle or if it was one of those retro re-release ones that I think they did in the early 90s. And it turns out, actual Coke bottle from 1944. The main way you can tell is that there is a little stamp here that shows you when the bottle was made. There's a couple other ways you can tell it wasn't a re-release one. One of the big ones is the fact that the lettering is actually just embossed on the glass itself. The other one is that the patent number that's printed on it says D105529, and that gives it a range between, gotta check my notes again here, 1938 to 1951. The other thing you can tell is where it was made, which was Las Vegas, Nevada, as you can see just on the bottom of the Coke bottle right there. Yeah, I'm not like particularly into these kinds of things, but just this was kind of a cool old like relic-y thing to just find out in the middle of the desert. It makes me wonder how long it was out there, how it got there in the first place. Like, did somebody in the 40s take one of these out there, drink it, and then leave it in the sand? Was this somebody else's keepsake that they lost out there? Was it just recently uncovered by the wind and the dunes kind of shifting around all the time? Yeah, I don't know. Knowing that these are collector's items, I had to look up also how much it might be worth. This is a good time to punch your guesses into the comments. I was 100% ready to put it up on eBay and just sell the thing if it was worth any amount of money, but turns out this particular bottle is worth, at best, 20 bucks. So I think I'm just gonna keep it. Kind of makes like a nice little keepsake to put on my shelf or, I don't know, somewhere else where I might just keep little trinkets and tchotchkes for my various trips. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of cool, but let's get back to the video. This next dune peak immediately caught my attention, and I knew it was going to be one of my favorites of the trip. I was seeing this very simple, symmetrical, and minimalist shot with the sun perfectly splitting the dune into two sides. The wind was pretty strong here, but after some careful positioning, I managed to line up the edge of the dune with the corner of the frame, which really helped satisfy my OCD. I like the full color version of the shot because the sand and sky color tones complement each other nicely. It has a very painterly look to it until you see the details like the wind on the edge and the little bits sticking out of the sand. The black and white version has a different, more minimalist vibe to it, which I also really dig. This next area was the last shot of the morning. I could see that there was a composition in here somewhere. I just needed to figure out how to put this close ridge to use to bring the viewer into the frame. Truth be told, I was starting to feel a little bit dehydrated and needed some decent rest. Gibber actually noticed a change in my behavior as well, and once he said that, I knew it was time to head out. It's really great to have a buddy out there watching your back. Thanks, Gibber.
So last night we spent the night over there in the wind and the heat and the noise and it just was bad. And we could have walked to an ice cream parlor. It's kind of cool. All right, in a hotel now, which is the best decision we have made. But looks like we've got crickets or grasshoppers. And they're just coming straight into the room. Hey, Gibson! We're going out to Badwater Basin now, and I'm gonna see if hopefully our ceiling of the room made it so that grasshoppers can't get in now. So this is kind of cool. We were just driving around, and I found this is where they shot the M&M movie. I thought it was in Detroit, but I guess it was out in Death Valley. At Badwater Basin.
Mom, spaghetti!
How's the water here? We're going deep. We're going way out there. And we're gonna be there for some time. Oh, salt dissolves from old deposits and flow into the surface, making the spring water bad. Oh. Yeah, we're going anyway.
They're like, not again.
It's very cool. So we don't know exactly how far we have to walk, but you may have noticed I've got a little something back here for the walk back and just to kind of play around with while we're out there. So I'm walking around. It looks really cool right now. That rain from last night has accumulated in here. There's basically like a lake bed. You can see, right, like up here. So I really want to see the colors in the sky reflected in the little pools. That's a bonus that I didn't expect to come out here for. But at the same time, I'm trying to find a view this way because this is where the galaxy's coming up. This is kind of a good problem to have, though. I think I gotta go out into the actual wetness. Yep, I'm gonna go into the wetness. The stars are already starting to come out. I've taken my ground composition photos or ground composite photos during blue hour. Now the tripod's locked off and I'm just waiting for this to start popping off. It's gonna be a minute. We have at least like a 3-hour wait or so until the Milky Way actually starts to come up. Actually, it should be up sooner. It's just going to be sideways. So we'll start seeing it once it gets dark enough. We're just going to have to wait for it to align correctly. Now, what I hope is that it's actually going to align where I want, because that would suck. But fingers crossed, we'll see. Let's take a look around. You can see, got the camera, the bunch of lights I didn't know existed on it going crazy. And then there's the Milky Way. So we're waiting for that to be kind of like right up in here. And then when it is, we're gonna get some reflections in these pools in front of us. Where's Gibber? Oh, there he is. Gibber! Wave! It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous tonight. There's so many shooting stars. It's so dark. You just look up and you just see them everywhere. But let me see if I can show you one of the photos. This is what we're looking at right now. And that's just with you can see the galaxy coming up over in the corner here. So in an hour and some change, hour 30 minutes or so, hour 40, that galaxy is gonna be pointing straight up like this, coming right up through the frame. And I did some shots where you can see, these are my earlier morning shots that I was gonna composite, something like this.
I am very happy with how this image turned out. This photo was the main reason I decided to brave the high temperatures of Death Valley in June. Thankfully, all of the research and planning worked out, and I was able to accurately predict where and when the Milky Way would align with the sky over my composition. A little Photoshop work blending the two images together, and the result is this incredible scene showcasing a view of the lowest point in North America with the infinite height of the cosmos, staring into the core of our galaxy. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and make sure to leave a comment letting me know which photo was your favorite. Hit that like button on the way out, and follow me on Instagram for more regular content. That's all for now. Jib Yubbins.